In this video, I will demonstrate how to make a model context protocol server for your Python project. This will have a bit more of a focus on finance related things, but you can create any tools you want, just the basic structure of the server is what's important here. To get started, you will need two things. The first one is UV to manage your Python packages. And you could find the installation here on this page, which I will also link in the description, but just follow these directions depending on which platform you are on. And then the second thing we will need is also Claude Desktop, because Anthropic released the MCP protocol. Claude seems to be the best supported with this at the moment, so that's just why I'm using it. And then once you have UV installed, you could run this command uv -- version, and if it returns a version, then you know you have it installed correctly. Once everything is downloaded and set in place, then decide where you want to create your server at, and then start running these commands. This is just the project name for my server, but it could obviously be anything for yours. And then we're going to change directories into that project. And following the directions still, we will do adding the MCP client. Alright, and now that we have that added, I think we can start taking a look at the code. So, that command uvinit will generate a few files for us by default. We will have our own virtual environment, our own main readme, nothing there, okay. So just to get us started, I am going to steal some of their code right here. And so this is saying it cannot be resolved because I did not change to the virtual environment provided here. And let's also get our command line on the virtual environment as well. Alright, and now we can see we are in the virtual environment for our project. To now set this up for Claude Code, we will do MCP install and then the name of our file, in this case main.py. So as we could see, we got this feedback that said added server demo to Claude config. Now we can open up Claude. If you go to File and Settings, you can enable developer mode, and then in here you will see your MCP servers. This right here is a previous MCP server I had, but we will add our new one. So if you click Edit Config, this File Explorer window will pop up, and you want to find the Claude desktop config.json. And if we open that up, we can edit it in our code editor. So here is all the commands for my previous server, but you can add multiple servers to your configuration. For the time being, I am actually going to delete this so we could just deal with our single server here. One thing to note is that for this command section, it might just show UV like that. I found that if you add your full path to the UV executable, you will get less errors. And I believe you can find that by typing where UV and then just copy and paste whichever path your UV is at. For now, everything looks fine in this config, so we will just leave it, but there will be changes made in the future. And one thing with Claude is you actually have to kill the process in the task manager to see the effects take change. Otherwise, your MCP server may not show up immediately if you just do the basic app closing. You have to end the process in task manager to see the effects take change. So after just ending that task and reopening Claude, we can see our demo is here, our demo server, and we have our function add, which was created right here. So just as an example to see if everything works, let's do add a+5, maybe a little bit redundant question, but it is detecting that it should be using our function, which is good. That's what we want. And it also determined the correct input parameters for our function, which is good. And so we could see the response is 13, and then this is just the full response that it printed out. So that's good. Our first tool is working. Now we can start making more customized tools. So I'll show my preferred way to set up the tools, but if you find another way more manageable, then by all means go with that. This part is a bit more open to interpretation. So I set up a modules folder, then I'll set up a functions folder and a tools folder. So just as a very basic tool, I'm going to make a watch list. And if we want the LLM to remember our watch list between conversations, we're actually going to have to store that locally somehow. And maybe a bit overkill, but I like doing a SQL server, so we will try to do that. For the purposes of this video, we will just make a very quick implementation. Our path is going to be not modules. It's going to be data watchlist.db. And then we will connect to the database. We will have a cursor . The tab complete is helping me a bit here. And then, alright, so that is our query to create the table. We will create the table if it does not exist, and we will use the ID will be an integer, so kind of thing of just like a list of items, 1, 2, 3, and that is our primary key. And it will auto increment whenever we add a new entry. And then the item is of type text, and that will just be the item of our watch list, the name of the company or the ticker symbol. So yeah, here's our create table function. And then now we're going to create a function to register our watch list tools. We are going to pass an MCP object to this function. And then within this function, we'll create a child function, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the correct word. But we will now start creating functions to interact with our watch list. Also, I believe that adding a little docstring to your functions will help the LLM determine what the function is doing. So this actually does help kind of guide it when it is calling the functions. So like if we talk about adding an item to the watch list, then conceivably this comment would help it identify that this is the function to do that. And then returns string, yeah, confirmation message. And then wow, the autocomplete kind of got a lot of this correct already, or it at least did the first iteration. And then so we are again connecting to our database. We are creating a cursor so we can interact with the database. And then we are executing this query. We are inserting it into the field item. And then this question mark is essentially the placeholder for our actual item that's passed in the function parameter. So once that is executed, we are going to want to save it. And then we could close the connection. And then we could return added item to watchlist. And then here we will create another tool. We will actually have this be view watchlist. Retrieve all the items in the watch list. Returns string. And yet again, create a connection, create a cursor. Our query this time is going to be cursor.execute, select ID item from the table watch list. So basically we're saying if there are no items, then we will return that the watch list is empty. Otherwise, we will return a string which bear with me slightly. Alright, so this will essentially create a string with the index and the item in a single line, and then it will join all the strings together with a new line character at the end. So hopefully the final result should be just a nicely formatted string of our watch list. Now we will create a tool to remove items from the watch list. And again, we will be connecting to the database, creating a cursor. Our query will be select ID, comma item from watchlist, and that will get us the contents of it. So that will give us our item ID for this current item. This query will delete from our watch list where the ID equals the item ID that we are fetching. And then we will commit the changes and close the connection again. And here we'll see, we will say removed item at index. And if this if statement doesn't pass up here, then we'll just say return invalid index. So now that we have some basic functionality to our watch list, we can register them to our MCP server. Also, we are going to want to have the create table function executed just so it creates it if it's not there already. And if we go into our main.py, we can delete all of this. And then register watchlist tools is what we want to import. Because again, that was kind of our parent function here for all of our children watchlist tools, for lack of better words. And so now that we have that, we can now call that function, and again we are passing the MCP object from up here. And once that is registered, we should start being able to use it with Claude. However, I have not ended Claude's process in Task Manager, so I'll need to do that right now to see the effects take change. So we are going to end task with Claude. Then we're going to load them back up. Okay, we are having an error loading this, which is good. Because then we could kind of see what's going wrong here. So whenever you do have errors, you can open the logs folder. Looks like this one is the most, yep. Unable to open database file is the error the log is giving me. So that's just a very simple mistake I probably made. So thankfully I found the error. It happened to just be an issue with my SQL query to create the table. And also, I forgot to add a commit and close statement at the end of this create table. So, hopefully now, if we do MCP install, it will say successfully installed the demo. And I have Claude open, which, as we could see, it actually can't connect, so we need to end the task to make the changes. And then now I'm going to boot Claude up again. Alright, no error messages. This is good. And we can see now we have all of our tools now. Before we just had the single add tool, which we got rid of, but now we have our watch list specific tools. So now, let's just say, can you add allow Alright, so we got the confirmation message that we added Apple to our watch list. Now let's say allow, and it correctly returned that we have a single item in our watch list. Now let's say, can you remove the well, I misspelled it, but let's see if it still gets it. Allow once. It got the index 1 correct. Okay, I've removed Apple from the watch list. So now let's try to view our watch list again. And it returned that it is empty because we removed Apple in the previous step. Now we're going to add Microsoft to the watch list. Allow. Okay, we've added Microsoft. Now let's end the task. And we are going to test that it saves our watch list between chats. So now I'm opening Claude back up. We're just going to say, show me my watch list. Allow. And we got Microsoft back. So it saved Microsoft to our watch list, and we were able to load it back in a new chat instance. So now that we have the watch list working, we will start expanding out some more tools. This one I'm going to call Yahoo Tools.py. Currently, YFinance is not installed. We can add a requirements file. And we'll need pandas. I can't remember if YFinance will install that by default. But how we install this is uv pip install requirements.txt. And that will install everything to our virtual environment. Now that we have YFinance installed, we will start writing some more functionality for it. And this function will get the news. We'll return a list. And if there is news found, we'll store it in this list. Alright, and if I did everything correctly, this should be all the information that we need for each article. And we're storing it in this dictionary, which is appended to this list, which we will now return that list. And then down here, we will make a register Yahoo Tools function, and it will be passed an MCP object, just like our Watchlist tools. And so for this, we actually want to be able to accept a single ticker as a string or a list of strings. So how we're going to do that is going to create a dict here. Going to check is instance ticker of type list, and if it is, and the autocomplete, I already got that part correct. So we are storing the list returned from fetch news at the key of ticker in this new data dictionary. And if it is not a list, if it's just a singular string, then we'll just store it like that, and then we will return the data. So hopefully this is our function complete. And if I find my Claude desktop config, so one thing we want to do before running this again is, so in this arguments section right here, this is how your server is essentially run. And since YFinance is an external library, it's not a native library to Python, we need to add it in this section right here, because that follows the with command, so it's saying with these libraries essentially. So it's important that we add that, otherwise it will give us an error when we try to run it again. So now that we have our news function set up, we can go back into our main.py, from modules.tools.yahoo tools, import register Yahoo Tools, and then we'll call this function, pass our MCP object. And one good thing might be to, again, just write a little docstring beneath it, because that does seem to help the LLM determine which tool is needed. And then we'll say returns, if I could spell correctly. It's gonna be a dict no matter what. A dictionary of news articles. Alright. So, believe we have everything in place. Let me go to Task Manager. Let's end Claude again. Alright, no errors so far. That is good. But our tools are not here yet. Oh, there they go. Okay. And we have Get Yahoo News. So it recognizes our new tool. That is good. Let me just check the current state of the watch list because I forgot. Let me see my watch list. And then, okay, so our watch list is Microsoft, and first let's get the news for a completely separate company, and then I'll show how we could kind of chain our tools together. So, can you get me the news for Rocket Lab? I'm gonna pass the ticker symbol first, just to hopefully prevent errors, but okay, it recognized the Get Yahoo News, so that is good. We will allow that. So it, as we can see, it passed the ticker to the ticker argument, and our response was our dictionary like we wanted, and it is this list of different articles. So, as far as I can tell, everything worked as I wanted it to. So now let's add Rocket Lab to the watch list. And then let's see if we could chain two of these tools together. From my watch list, can you get the news? This one's taking a bit more thinking it would. Okay, it's getting the news for Microsoft. Oh, and then it's getting the news again for Rocket Lab. So again, we're getting the same news for Rocket Lab. But yeah, so it took the information from my watch list and it got the news for both entries in it. So this is a very basic implementation of the server, but hopefully it serves as a good starting point on how to interact with databases and fetch information externally like we did with Y-Finance. There are many more things you can add, basically anything you can think of, so hopefully this video helped generate some ideas.